Although it's common, it can be quite scary, especially when you see that blood.
So Dominique, she says, oh, I have so many friends that this is true of. But when you get a nosebleed, when is it considered an emergency versus something you can handle?
Well, I have to say, this is another common problem that patients experience often. Although it's common, it can be quite scary, especially when you see that blood. Just a quick tip, other than those shout things that get blood out, I use hydrogen peroxide when I get blood on me. It really is helpful, but that's aside. We'll talk about that in another time. But for nosebleeds, some basic tips that I can help people with. When you get a nosebleed, the first step that you'll do is kind of bend forward, or you can even bend your neck forward, and you want to pinch your nose at the topmost part of your cartilage. I actually have a graphic here to help people understand. So in your nose, there's that hard nasal bone at the top of your nasal bridge, and then you can feel down, and you can kind of feel where the bone ends and the cartilage stops.
The cartilage begins, right?
Exactly. And then that's where you want to apply that pressure and pinch while you're leaning forward. And the second step is don't peek. Every time we have a nosebleed, we want to check to see if what we're doing is working, and you let go, and it can disrupt that natural coagulation or clotting process. And the third tip is don't blow your nose. After the nosebleed is done, we often feel uncomfortable and stuffy, and we want to blow our nose, but that can also disrupt that natural clotting process. And some reasons to go to the ER is if all else fails and you notice that the bleeding is persistent, or if the bleeding is coming from both nostrils. These might be signs that the bleeding is coming from somewhere a little bit deeper where it needs my intervention. And of course, if you feel weak, dizzy, or faint, those are also reasons that you should visit the ER, because it might be a little bit more than you expected.
I just learned so much, it kind of hurts. And I learned that stopping a nosebleed is much like waiting for water to boil. Watch pots. Do not boil. So if you overnurse a nosebleed, it's not going to heal on its own. Jung me on Facebook, and I'm a person who suffers from migraines as well. She says I get migraine headaches all the time. At what point should I go to the ER? Please give us some guidance on this one. It's a very common thing among people.
First off, it's very common to experience migraines. Approximately 12 to 15% of people experience migraines at some point in their life, and the basic definition is simply recurrent headaches. Now, there's a graphic here that I'll point to, and it basically describes what people feel, that pulsating, throbbing pain that is often, but not always, one-sided. It's really often associated to sensitivities of light and sound. When I'm treating patients, I start conservatively, especially with mild or moderate headaches, and oftentimes I have this in my house for muscle aches, but also keep it for my headaches. Applying a cold compress can really be helpful. And many people don't realize it or know, but caffeine can also be helpful. A cup of coffee can help to eliminate a headache. You gotta be careful. Yeah, absolutely. Caffeine is actually really helpful in eliminating a headache, and a cup of coffee can be great, but be careful not to drink too many cups like me, because you might end up with a persistent headache and palpitations, which is a bad combination. And beyond that, when to go to the ER. So some red flags that I help people pay attention to. If that migraine is unrelenting, explosive, or violent, or if you've had migraines your whole life and now it has new features or associations to changes in vision, speech, sudden dizziness, weakness, or sensation, those are reasons that you need to come into the ER and talk to someone like myself.